And we are live. Next Round Cocktail Hour is back after a small hiatus.
Season
Brittany
2.
Wagner,
They told me it was season 2.
Kelly Hunter, this is season 2. Did we have a cliffhanger to end season 1?
We all showed back up. So
we're back.
There you go.
So I don't even remember. Was it December, late December?
Yeah. It was before Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah. It was before
So we are
Christmas.
drinking from our friends at Constellation Brands. This is MFN. Do you guys want to guess what the acronym is for? It's Chardonnay, which I typically never drink, but when in Rome.
MFN?
MFN.
Is it a bad word?
It's not a bad word, no.
Oh, I hear MF and I go.
I like where your mind already is.
I go bad words. I have no idea.
It's my favorite neighbor.
Oh.
I didn't come up
That's
with
why
it.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't have one of those.
So we are live. We're doing this every single Monday. So we're back. The girls are back. It's brought to you by Blakelee's Bouquets. Again, Constellation Brands providing the My Favorite Neighbor. We're going to get into a variety of things. How have you two been over the last couple of months?
Good.
You're not married yet?
God, no.
You still are married.
I'm still married. You didn't have a whirlwind Christmas Hallmark story?
No.
Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah.
How about New Year?
I had a friend's like a Friendsgiving, but a friend's Christmas. It was really fun.
Okay.
I think I may do it every year.
How about you?
Yeah, everything was good. New Year. Oh no, I woke up the day before Christmas. I had tonsillitis.
You got sick.
Which I've never had tonsillitis. That shit was.
That's awful. I've had
was
it.
awful.
It's not good.
Oh my God, my throat was on fire. Last Christmas I had. I'm doing something wrong out there because last Christmas I got COVID for the first time, and now I've got tonsillitis. So to suffer on Christmas is not good.
Like you.
Yeah.
Have you what's going on with those tonsils, by the way?
I go to the ENT tomorrow for my follow-up to see if I have to get the tonsils out.
Because you're close to having.
I've heard that's horrible if you're an adult.
Oh yeah,
we've talked about that, and
it'd be more punishment for me.
I felt bad about that.
No. Well.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
I spent New Year's. Wait.
Oh yeah, New Year's Eve.
No, but wait. When was I at your house for your party?
Huh?
That was Christmas at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all had a Christmas party, and you thought, well, Kelly's probably busy, but Kelly wasn't busy. So me and Dunaway will just be sad that
Dunaway was there.
No one ever invites us.
See, I honestly I forget you because of the slew of kids you got.
I am forgettable. It's okay.
No, Brittany just lets her run wild. That's what we'll get into a story on why she's grounded here in a little bit.
Yes.
I
mean,
again, any questions you guys have for us here on Next Round Cocktail Hour, please bring them. We're going to do a couple of things. We're going to do advice, adventure, and adulting. We're going to start with advice. And I have this question because I got to be honest. When I started getting gray hair in my mid-30s, I started to color it.
Okay.
I just did not want to get gray hair. But I always said when I turned 40, I'm not doing it anymore. So when I got 40, I shut it down.
You stopped?
I stopped. So now I've got kind of the salt and pepper. The problem, the biggest problem I had with it, didn't want to get old, can't control that. But I would just get a little white here. And so it just did, if it was all balanced out, it's not as bad. So my question to you guys, being women who get your hair done a lot, which is very expensive, by the way, should women always color their hair and should men never color their hair? So let's go backwards and move forwards. Okay. So
sorry.
Cheers, by the way.
Cheers.
Yeah. My favorite neighbor.
Cheers.
Chardonnay. Should guys ever color their hair?
See, I can go either way on that. Because sometimes guys color their hair and it's like
Dom capers,
box color, orange or something like that. It's not good. It's not the right color. And so then I'm like, ew. Or I think if you color your hair as a guy, you got to keep up with it.
Maintenance.
But you got to keep doing it. You can't just do it and then let it like
have the
work itself out. That
the skunk stripes. And,
it's not good.
No.
But I think, yes, guys can color their hair. I don't really see anything wrong with that.
I think it looks goofy when they have a white beard, but like, wow, what's Ohio State head coach? That guy uses so much Grecian formula on his beard and his,
Ryan Day?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is naturally black because with that much stress, you're going to have some gray and white.
Well, I think what looks bad too is like if you have the patches of gray, but you don't have any gray in your hair.
Right.
Doesn't really
in the
match.
beard,
Yeah, so I mean, if you're going to color your hair, you might as well color your facial hair.
Yeah.
But like Mike Krzyzewski at 76 has still got like jet black hair. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous looking.
Did you see Dom Capers' hair the other week? Where he,
oh yeah.
that's what I meant, like Dom Capers type. Like But that leads me into aging gracefully. Like, I think it's okay to do maintenance and, keep your, not to the extreme of like Madonna at the Grammys, but like, I think it's okay to, if it makes you feel good, I think what the most important thing is having friends who are going to be honest with you and be
that's what it is. Do whatever you need to do, but like, have somebody that can tell you.
So like if I was still dyeing mine and it just wasn't working with you, I'll be like, that ain't working.
Mm-hmm. Or that's the wrong color.
Okay.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't say that ain't working. I'd be like, what's going on with your hair?
What'd you do?
I would
Something
do
new?
like the passive aggressive. Like, what's happening with your hair, Lance?
Yeah, the Dunaway move right there in the passive aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't know. First of all, it was kind of a pain in the ass to do.
Yeah.
And then
because yours is dark and you can't run anywhere. You've got to make sure you get it all in the right spot.
Oh, and then some would be like left on my face. But what about honestly?
Who is doing your hair?
He's doing it at home. He's doing his own hair at home.
Okay, so and I got to be honest. I'm one of those that I think guys are okay with a little silver. I think women with a little silver, it's tough to pull off.
I know some women that pull it off very, very well.
Okay.
And sometimes I look at people that don't color and that still like have the really pretty like silver, and I'm kind of jealous. I'm like, oh, they look good. I'm not brave enough or confident enough to ever do it. I literally feel like I will be 90 and still like
have dark hair.
Have hair like this. Like I don't have confidence to cut it like older people do, and I don't have confidence to stop with the color.
Yeah, y'all both have long hair before we get back into the coloring, and there is this thought that the older you get, the shorter your hair should be.
Well,
which
because
I disagree
it's supposed to
with.
it's supposed to like drag your face down.
Not
like,
happening for me, man. I cut my hair one time and I look like a beach whale. It will not happen again.
But
no, but I do think people have some people have faces for long hair, some people have faces for short hair.
It's the same thing with guys too. Like when you see a guy with the wrong haircut, you're like, remember that phase where everybody's doing like those Caesar cuts?
Yeah.
Where it's like straight across. And I was like, okay, that worked in the movie. Like for Gladiator, that was fantastic. But this is not a time period. And so
I had it like in the mid 90s.
Yeah, there was that.
I think I had it when I was a little kid.
But I mean, like, yeah. So I'm okay to an extent, but no, long hair is just easy. Somebody the other day was like, "Your hair's so pretty." I'm like, "Thank you." I'm just the laziest person alive. I was like, because I can't imagine having to get up and do my hair every morning.
Do you color your hair?
No.
Shut up.
No.
Are you for real?
You don't have any grays.
You don't have any color?
My dad was blonde until he was like 65 and then went straight to like silver white.
My sister doesn't have gray either, and she's older than me. And I literally have so much. I just got mine done Saturday. If I hadn't gotten it done and I pulled my part apart, y'all would be like, what the heck? It's bad.
I mean, I've got a pretty good amount too.
Well, yeah.
It's Next Round Cocktail Hour with Kelly Hunter and Brittany Wagner. I'm Lance Taylor from the Next Round. We do this every Monday. We're doing it live too, so any questions you guys might have, it's brought to you by Blakelee's Bouquets. They craft both traditional and contemporary bouquets with plenty of room for customization and uniqueness. This goes for every arrangement that they sell, and anniversary arrangements, new baby gifts, birthday flowers, they've got it all. Blakelee'sBouquets.com. Okay, so we go from that to adventure. So I had a little adventure last week. I was at the Florida Mammoth.
That's an adventure in and of itself. Then you factor in
you there,
Lance being there.
Yeah. And, okay. So it was out of season. Spring break actually started this past week for some kind of Auburn spring break.
A ton of Indiana cars driving home yesterday when I was going to Huntsville.
Yeah. So it started. We were down there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, came back Thursday. Spring break for some started on Saturday. So we were a little out of season, but it was still a pretty good crowd. That is, to me, the best. It's hard to call it a dive bar because it's so big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it used to be
it did.
more of a dive bar. Yeah.
Pre-Ivan, I think.
Yeah.
Hurricane. Yeah.
But that is like by far the best dive bar I've ever been in.
Yeah. No, it's a dive bar, but nothing is altogether too sticky. Like you don't accidentally brush by something and you're like, I may need a tetanus shot or just, but no, like, I mean, I feel like, and there's a good crowd. Everybody goes there because there's a good vibe. It's a good crowd. And you don't always get that at dive bars.
Well, I'll tell you, I went to, because we continue to see the signs. So we flew in, this is close to 20 years ago. We were going to see Alabama, Florida, and we flew into Tampa and then we drove over to Gainesville. and every other sign was Cafe Risque.
Oh, yeah.
Cafe
Oh my
Risque.
gosh.
Cafe Risque. Have you ever heard of it?
No, where is it? Is it
Oh,
in Tampa
gosh.
or Gainesville?
They
Or
got
in between?
dancers all day, all night.
Yeah,
They
it's
serve
right.
They serve every meal.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
No, just the bill. When having to
Oh.
drive to games, I'd be
you
like,
just
oh, good.
memorized.
Truckers welcome. You know,
Oh.
just like
Yeah, so I had never been there. I was like, we need to see what all this fuss is about. We're hungry. Let's stop before we get to Gainesville. And so we got in there, and it was the biggest shithole. And the girls that were dancing were beat up, to say the least. And this is probably like 3 p.m, though. But I remember getting a chef salad and like multiple flies landed on it.
she's dancing
Why
over
would-
it,
But this is kind of yeah, where they're dancing all around,
dancing around your
which
food.
makes it
You're
more
like,
sanitized, right?
exactly. What do they always say? How far crabs can jump and travel? You're like, I don't want to eat. This can't be This can't be sanitary.
I think this was post crab stuff. I don't know. It was a place I never wanted to go back, and I didn't finish my meal. Yeah,
I don't think I
Wow.
finished
shocker there. So that's another one of those dive bars I've been to.
I went to one here in Birmingham. I cannot remember the name of it, which is probably okay. And it was not my doing. This was that we were with a guy who was trying to pursue this girl, and she wanted to go sing karaoke at this bar. And I just remember sitting there. And
How long ago was this?
Oh gosh,
Because I remember Club South had karaoke back in the day,
that may have been it.
and it was a dive bar. They did penny beer for.
Oh,
a while.
That was it. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I
yes.
went to Penny Beer.
Yes. And I remember looking at my friend and I go, if you are not doing terrible things to this young woman in 2 hours with kitchen utensils, I may kill you because I do not want to be here right now. Like, this is why I always take a separate car.
The funny thing about their penny beer at Club South was it was penny beer all night until somebody broke the seal and went to the bathroom. And so everybody be in this room drinking, and then somebody would finally, and they just got booed, and everybody was so pissed.
I think that's the place we used to go when I was at Stanford, but they had penny pitchers back then.
How are they making their money? Have we
Dangerous.
thought about
No
that?
idea. No idea.
Uh,
No, I don't.
Because I remember this girl singing, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Oh,
and I
that's
was-
a good karaoke song.
It is, but I did not
choice
want to be
by
at Club South
her.
like that. Yeah. Again, she's like just having
I
the
mean-
time of her life, just dancing like nobody's watching. I'm
Yeah.
like, you better be getting your
That's the
fill
old,
here.
but see, here's the great thing about a good dive bar that has karaoke. If no one's there. So like that is the place.
It depends. We went. I got suckered into going to one.
No
this
one's there
past
that you're
Friday
gonna
night.
ever run into again or that you know. I'll say that.
Well, so I get there, and our social media director Taylor is there with her crew of people, and we randomly showed up with Charles Barkley, and so he started doing Frank Sinatra, "My Way."
I thought that was a perfect song for him.
Oh,
to-
it is perfect
and
for
it's
him.
just yes.
But just imagine this is an old Pizza Hut, the place we're at. It's really,
Does it
really
still have
ratty.
the video games that you can sit down and play Pac-Man?
I
Because
didn't know.
that if it was like a deserted, I'm picturing a deserted old Pizza Hut.
But it was the majority of people, I would say the average age is probably 24. But first dude, I walk in, he's got suspenders on. He's probably
sir.
60, 65.
Oh no, I thought
And-
you were gonna say young dude with
No.
suspenders.
And so he was the first one to greet us. And I just can't explain how random it was. There was a dude wearing a diaper.
Wait,
in
where
there.
was this?
Place called,
What
Yeah.
like is it what where in Birmingham?
yeah, it's in Irondale.
Oh.
I was like, you don't have to say the
Oh.
name,
Yeah.
but okay.
It's in Irondale. It's an old Pizza Hut.
It's a burned
And
out old Pizza
I
Hut.
guarantee
We're
some
all
people
gonna
know
get-
There's
exactly
an old
what I'm
man
talking
suspenders there to greet you.
about. Steven is
speakeasy.
telling us, "Oh, Charlie's in Fultondale used to have karaoke."
Oh,
That's a
Charlie's?
damn night right there. Yeah.
Hey, Charlie's in
In
those rolls, man. They got those good rolls.
God Almighty. Are there O'Charlie's that still exist?
Yeah,
There's gotta be.
I think there's one in Hattiesburg, Mississippi that's still it.
That's the kind of thing like you get a free gift card from someone and it's like to O'Charlie's, like burn this.
Oh,
thing.
so the one on you get off of 20 McFarland, right there in Tuscaloosa, right when you get off the interstate. My freshman year of college, they had dollar margaritas at that O'Charlie. So on Monday nights, and they had live music. Just a couple of
I
guys
just
playing
picture
acoustic.
sugary sweet.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your teeth just feel fuzzy.
yeah. We would go there and have 15 or 20 each because take a $20 bill, you're good to go.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that wasn't really a
Oh, Charlie,
dive bar.
that's why they're trying. That's why they have karaoke. They're trying to lure people in.
Trying to pull in the classy crowd.
Pull in.
Yeah.
Classy crowd.
I mean,
Should I can't mention. Can I mention the name?
Yeah, sure.
Is Courtyard 280 still open? Because
I
that
think
might be like my dive bar experience. That and a place in Meridian.
You know what? Courtyard
I'll
280.
go
Last time I
often.
went, it was in the middle of COVID. So one of my
You went
friends,
to court.
I did too.
tell you what,
It's tempting
I did
fate.
too.
I've got a reason.
Tempting fate.
This is like a Wednesday at like 2 p.m. Some dude, I kind of knew him. He died from COVID.
Okay.
And so one of his best friends was in town that I'm good friends with. And so he's like, hey, will you stop by? Because I'm only going to be in town for a little bit. Will you stop by Courtyard 280? Wasn't my selection, but I went in there and they're basically having like a wake for this guy.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, the WAP song comes on.
Yeah.
And these old, like 65-year-old men are singing this shit. And I was like, it's been a while since Courtyard 80. Hadn't been back since. But what's your Courtyard 280 experience?
I mean, I've been, and I just was like, oh,
Is Courtyard
wow.
280 ever someone's first destination? Like, has somebody ever said,
no.
it starts at Courtyard
Definitely
280?
not your first.
That's usually the last place most
Yes.
people are like,
Yeah.
I think I left my credit card at Courtyard 280.
No, it's like you go everywhere until there's nowhere else to
to
go.
go.
And
It's
then
the only
Because you
place
know that that's
open.
where other people who have nowhere else to go will be.
I think at that point there's no logical thought.
No.
It's just like,
it's like Marty's.
open,
Have you guys
let's
been to
go.
Marty's?
Yeah.
Okay, so Marty's apparently has got this good cheeseburger. I've had it, but I've never had it when I was sober, so I really
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah.
But a buddy of mine turned 50 a few weeks ago, so we ended up at Marty's. And the first thing I noticed the next day was my credit card was gone.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't going back to Marty's. I called Amex and I was like, y'all need to send me another credit card. Just cancel this one.
I mean, that is, I cannot imagine, because when I, back a million years ago, when I worked at Innisfree, I mean, people were given cards, but it's not the way it is now. I cannot imagine the number of cards that are left every single night with people just like, keep it! And then
Yeah.
people trying to backtrack and find their
So
cards the
Josh
next
says
day.
Club La Vila was definitely the definition
I've
of a
been there.
bar/club that would classify as
That was
sticky.
Panama City, right?
Oh, I
oh
spent a lot
yeah,
of time in
Piece
La
I
of
Vila.
it.
spent some time there.
Yeah.
And that was like a place for
It's
you.
like 3 stories and stuff. They had like the bubble thing. You
Oh.
get in the bubbles.
It was crazy.
Swim.
It was the
Well.
Taj Mahal of trying to get into when you were 15.
Oh yeah, you're
It was
outside
like,
the lines wrapping around
Yeah.
the building.
You know, they had a big racket. They were selling X in there, and the guys
What?
that owned it. Yeah, well, not a shocker. And the guys that owned it were making $1 million a week in cover.
I can't believe they weren't cooking meth in
I
there.
believe it.
Like
Yeah.
nobody would have known.
I believe it.
I mean, I've been there one night. Like, I'm one of those guys. I hate to say this. Y'all are probably like me. As older you get, the less you want to stand in line, wait in line, wait on a table,
or
any of
pay a
that kind of
cover or
stuff.
anything. No.
Yeah, and I remember it was like 200 yards deep one time, and I was in that line, and it's $25 a head. So the guy told me off record, he's like, "Yeah, we make about $1 million a week in cover."
I would
I'm
be
like, why do you need to
interested
deal the drugs on
to
top
to
of
know
it?
what some of those bars on the square in Oxford make a week in cover.
Cover,
Because
yeah.
they're charging like $100 a cover
Oh yeah,
at some of those places on a game night.
yeah, and
And the lines wrapped around the building with college students willing to cash out $100 just to get in.
yeah, and but I mean, shit, you can only hold so many people with fire code. So
That's
Yeah.
Panama City.
how about this one? Buffalo Wild Wings has karaoke.
Mm-mm.
I've never seen that.
Where are all these karaoke places?
I don't know.
I want to go listen to people.
How about that? Josh comes back. Went to a karaoke night at Hooters in Trustful a couple of
Oh,
weeks ago.
hey.
Talk about drinking until you're numb. My ears needed it.
That's great.
What'd you do
Hooters
last night? I'd rather not
Trustful.
talk about it.
Wh-
Why? Because it's just not something I want to tell people I did.
Have
That
y'all ever
was
been
a
to
Hooters in
Stars?
Trustful.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
karaoke?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I've been there a couple
Yeah.
times. It's fun.
One of my best friends loves doing karaoke there, so I've been forced to go a couple of times.
Is it a karaoke bar?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
legit karaoke bar, but man, and they're, some of the legit karaoke bars, like people go and they dress up and they think they're going to get a music contract.
Like they're
Like,
doing a set.
like-
They got a tight set tonight.
They're for real, for
That's what we're
real.
going to open with.
That's what I hate about karaoke
It-
bars.
they
It's like
get
if
their-
everybody didn't take themselves seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's too many people that think they're like the
Like
next
one
big artist.
guy's
Like
like,
Mariah
I'm going to
Carey's
dedicate this song to my mom. And you look over and his mom's like 90 years old in a wheelchair and he starts singing Wind Beneath My Wings. And it's like 1
He starts
a.m.
singing
at Stars
WP.
Karaoke. You're like, no,
It just kills the mood.
wrong venue,
Yeah,
buddy.
it kills the mood. If there is
And
any mood in
why
there.
is your mom out at 1 a.m.?
I know this has, it doesn't, this is like, I thought about this morning. I was out walking the dog. I got up at like 5:15 to walk the dog. There was a huge moon. Like a moon. It was a big,
We're like in a weird,
yeah,
I keep up with all that.
I know. And I didn't know if you were, because you get up at the crack of
Oh,
2.
I was out of town, but
But I was just like, I was listening to music because it was such a pretty morning. And the song by the Killers, somebody told me came on. And there was the most like specific memory of I'd gotten into behind and backstage at Voodoo Festival down in New Orleans back when I was with 107.70X, and I was talking to Juliette Lewis because her band was playing.
Have you watched Yellow Jackets?
No, but that's
It's a great show. Anyway, I was going to say she's rough as a corn cob.
Oh, but I was like, we're
Rough
having
as
a
a corn cob.
totally normal conversation and just talking, and then all of a sudden the Killers come on. She was like, oh, it's their song. Let's go. And she like grabs my arm and we go and listen to that song. But it was just one of those like weird, because I would never have the confidence to get up and sing something.
This is where Dunaway would ask you a really awkward question about you and Julia.
Yeah, nothing. I know. It was just one of those like kind of fame adjacent moments because her band had performed right before the Killers.
Yeah, I forgot she was a musician.
What's the Yellow Jacket?
It's on.
Is it
It's
a
on
show?
Showtime. Yeah,
Showtime?
it's
Okay.
great. So it's a soccer team in high school. They're going to a tournament and they crash in the wilderness.
Oh,
And
I
so,
think I've
so
seen
they have to
it.
survive, but it's also got kind of a supernatural element to it. But it's
Okay.
real, and so it goes back. It's non-linear, so it goes back and forth from the crash to where they are as adults. And so they're trying to piece it all together. But I mean, it's
Where do people find all
Very,
this time
very
to
dark.
watch TV?
that's all I do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's all I
I'm
do is
still
watch TV.
catching up on Dan Yellowstone. And then
Well, they're about to kill Kevin Costner off. I don't know if you knew that. He's in a big debate with the creator.
All I know is that I need to stay alive long enough to keep my daughters off the pole and outlive Beth Dutton's mom because she needed a few more years with her.
That is an important thing, keeping them off the pole.
Yeah.
Blakelee's Bouquets brings us next from Cocktail Hour. Again, anniversary arrangements, do baby gifts, birthday flowers. They've got a million options for you. Same day flower delivery in Birmingham and beyond. For more information, Blakelee'sBouquets.com. We are drinking My Favorite Neighbor from Constellation Brands. Interesting name.
It's a
I
blonde.
really like that.
I
name.
think it's good though.
I've never had a
I'm not-
favorite neighbor. I've never been one of those people that like makes friends with my neighbors. Is that bad?
I just had a guy out at the house and he's like, if we put these we do this retaining wall, we put the evergreens high enough, you'll never see your neighbors.
I won't know.
We're that way too. I was like, I can't imagine living in a neighborhood where like I feel like you're always kind of being watched and it's
No, I
competitive.
live
It's
in
always
that
competitive, but it's
neighborhood.
always competitive of like, boy, their yard looks, there are lights in the
Yeah.
yard and just like everybody's lives are.
I live in that neighborhood, but I've always wanted that neighbor that I would just like walk over to.
I
their
would
house.
too, yeah.
I think that would be so fun.
I
Have
do
like
too.
that cool neighbor. I
Yeah.
guess my across the street neighbors are like that for me, kind of, but they're never home.
Like, so my younger brother, Reed, you guys know him. He's in a neighborhood that he's got like all of these couples right there. So they
Yeah.
just jump around and
That would be so fun.
Yeah,
I
I
want to
agree.
do that. Where can I move?
Jump up
I don't
and
know.
down.
I want that.
We just don't need to live near each other.
I don't know.
we could have fun.
I'm not
You have
disagreeing.
decent neighbors, don't you?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but where I live, everybody likes like long driveways, waving, saying hi, but not really getting into everybody's business. Everybody's very friendly, but we're just not like.
Before I go to adulting here, Steven says Dave's Pub was the jam in the early 2000s. I love Dave's Pub back in the day. I mean, I still
went there
do.
a couple times.
Good guys and other guys that run it. But we used to go because it was that and Taco Mac were the only establishments that had a good variety of beer back before beer
Yeah.
was just everywhere.
We went to Dave's a couple times when I was at Sanford because we would go to like Music City Hall, like late night at Music City
on
Hall. Wasn't that the
Thursday
name of
night.
it? Yeah. So we'd like pregame
5 Points
at Dave's
Music Hall,
and
5 Points
Yeah,
Music Hall.
yeah, there we go. We pregame at Dave's and then
Okay, so adulting.
Mhm.
Have we gotten into
Okay.
anything? My question
You
to
got
you
a
guys.
good one. I have just have a good quote. You have an
Yeah, well,
experience.
tell us about young Kennedy.
So I had to ground her, and I'm not good at that. I suck at grounding.
Is it grounding or sticking to it? Like the stick to itiveness of
Both. It's like the decision of like, what am I going to do to handle this situation? And then I ground her, and then I go back on my own grounding because it impacts me. And then I'm like, wait a minute, let me change.
Yeah, I mean, it
grounding
does though.
rules.
I mean, you said this earlier. We were talking about this before that you punish yourself when you've grounded
Oh,
a kid.
absolutely. Because now all of a sudden, like, especially if you take away a phone, how are you going to get in touch with her?
Right.
Like when you take away a device, like what are they going to do? They're just going to bug you or do something else.
Yeah.
It really is punishing yourself.
So I like told her because the grounding was she can't take her phone to school for a couple weeks. And because I'm trying to teach her, she does this thing where she texts me in the middle of the day while she's at school and supposed to be in class, and I'm at work, like trying to actually do stuff. And it's like she's creating plans. Can I do this? Well, I'm not in a place to process it,
Right.
think it through. And so I just say, yeah, like, okay. Well, then that's not the plan though. Like that's what she told me to get me to say yes.
Does she embellish the plan a little
and
bit?
then the plan changes. And then it's like a text thread of like, okay, well, then once I say yes, then it's like, okay, well, we're going to pick this person up and take this person here. And this person's going to come to our house. And now I'm going to spend the night. And it like becomes this whole long thing that happens while I'm in a meeting at work. And I'm like, no.
I told my cousin in Hansville that we'd come pick her up and it'd be okay if we,
And I'm like, this is not how this is going to go. And I warned her like 3 times. And then last week she did it again, like this whole concoction of it. So I'm like, that's it. You're grounded and I'm taking your phone and you can't have it for school. And then like the very next day was Thursday when we were supposed to have the severe weather thing. And so I'm like, you can take it today because we might have severe weather. And so then Friday I was like, you're not taking your phone. Like you're grounded, remember?
So what'd she do last weekend? Went to a couple of parties?
Yeah, I didn't ground her from like stuff. See, I'm not good at it.
And
man.
see, and there has to be a line where there's like respect and there's fear of consequences.
I know.
And I'm not good at it either. Like I've only grounded Leighton one time. Never had to ground Jack. Jack's been a great kid.
Well, okay.
Leighton has 2.
Is Jack more your friend?
No,
Okay.
I mean we do friendly stuff, but there's still life lessons that I try to teach him.
Yeah.
But Leighton is more my ex's friend. The problem is like I ground, but she spends the majority of her time with the ex. So that's hard when you're a split home.
Yeah.
Well, I just not. And then today,
and then you don't want to ground her because she doesn't want to come over. Like, why would I come there if I'm not grounded here?
Right. Exactly.
So that united front's really tough.
Yeah.
Or it's what you really need.
They play that just.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like today I was like, take your phone to school because I was out of town and my mom was handling stuff. And so I like grounded her from taking her phone to school, but she's taken it to school every day but once and she's been grounded because I have been the rules.
And because I have one and then I've got younger ones, like the stuff that I made such a big deal about with my oldest, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so stupid. Like the phone thing, like I was like, you can't get a phone until you're this age and da-da-da. And then last year I was at the AT&T store and they're like, we have iPhone 13 minis for $1 a month. I'm like, I'll take 3. And like gave him like, it's like, you get a phone and you get a phone. And meanwhile, Layden's like, this is horse shit. I'm like, well, I realized it wasn't that big a deal. And we're saving money.
Did you guys get grounded as kids though? Like I had those parents, like my old man was never home. And my mom was very controlling, but she would want to ground me every now and then. And so I was grounded a couple of times, but it was like you were grounded from like just going out because you didn't have anything anyway. Like you didn't have devices, obviously you didn't have phone. But I remember the last time I was grounded was my junior year of high school.
I never got grounded.
Never?
No.
Were you a good kid?
I mean, no. I mean, yes, I was. I never
You
did
were sneaky?
anything. No, I never did anything like that, but I had a smart mouth. Like I would talk back to my mom. Now that I have a kid, I'm like, oh my gosh, if Kennedy talks to me the way that I talk to my mother, I would have a hard time. I talk back to my mom a lot, but I never did anything. But I think my mom always thought I was. And so she would like come at me and then I would get all defensive. But I really never got in trouble much.
Did you drink in high school?
Not really, no. I mean, a few times,
You never
like,
had my favorite
I wasn't
neighbor?
like a big partier. I definitely didn't drink wine in high school. That was like a adult thing.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So we were in Nashville last week or 2 weeks ago for volleyball. And we're driving past a mall, which is, unique in and of itself. I feel like Nashville has like 80 malls, like all kind of around the perimeter. But she looks at and she's like, oh, American Girl doll. She's like, that was like the Lululemon of my youth, wasn't it? I was like, it really was because it costs about the same.
Right.
Whatever that stupid catalog came and we had to get the sit down hair dryer.
Where was the mall outside of Atlanta? Was it somewhere in DeKalb or something?
North Point.
Lennox?
No, it wasn't Lennox.
North Point had the American Girl doll store.
Yeah, but I remember going there 2 different times, like this summer and the very next summer.
It's a short period of time, but it's a costly
thousands of dollars
period of time.
Yeah.
And so when she said that was the Lululemon of my youth, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not recovering any of that money whatsoever.
I sold all mine like on eBay and made a ton of money off of them.
Did you really?
Yes. Kennedy had like 9 of those dolls and then all of this stuff. And when we moved from Meridian to here, I was like, Kennedy, do you care about any of this stuff? And she was like, I want to keep one, like her favorite one or whatever, and a few of the little accessories. And I got my friend to post the rest of them on like Facebook Marketplace, and I sold all
Good
of
for
it.
you.
Yeah.
I remember we went to my aunt's house to visit, and she's like, I kept my little girl's American Girl doll, and like Layden picked it up, and elastic after 20 years will start to give way. Like she picked it up and like moved one leg, and like the leg just fell off. I was like, put the damn doll down. Oh my god.
That's an
Do y'all watch
expensive
Curb?
way.
When Larry and Jeff cut, I forgot their daughter's names.
Yeah.
So again, Susie was so pissed.
That's one show I would love to be a part of that show.
No
Because I was
doubt.
sitting there eating Pirates Booty today on my way here, thinking about like the episode about Pirates Booty
Oh,
and
yeah.
eating the one on the floor. And
So good. So Jason said, missed you gals.
oh,
thanks,
thanks, Jason.
Jason.
We are back next year on Cocktail Hour. Constellation Brands providing us with the Chardonnay today, my favorite neighbor. It's always brought to you by Blakelee's Bouquets. What age should you never see 2 a.m.?
Why don't you tell us that?
No.
I'm going to defer to our.
When y'all
what's
got
our
here, I
next
was taking
one?
a nap on the couch here
I
in the
know
green room.
you got off work at 1.
I went and met a client. Well, we had a meeting, our Monday meeting.
Okay.
And then I went and met a client. And then I came back here about 2:30, and I got like a 15-minute nap.
I do like that because we were out in the lobby, in the holding area, the waiting room, as I called it. And Brownie goes, I'm going to go wake up Lance. I was like, oh my gosh, he's serious. He's going to go wake up Lance. Lance sleeps here.
I will tell you, I've got this problem right now.
Do you have a little
and
pallet
I've-
on the floor? Do you take
No,
it? Or
it's
do you
on
shut it
the
down?
right there.
Yeah, that's a
I
drill
have
marker.
got to figure this out though. I'm pretty good during the week. Like I'll go to bed outside of Wednesday nights when I do trivia. I'll go to bed most nights 9:30. And on the weekends, for whatever reason, I just like to stay up late.
You need a handler. You need someone who like,
Well-
is
Didn't
like
listen
Lance.
to them.
The roommate told me
I'm
that
taking
you
you
can't.
home.
She
He
said,
does.
unless I got a tranquilizer is the only way to handle you.
Yeah.
And I've had
I'm not
friends
gonna
that say that
listen.
too. But so we went out Friday night. I didn't want to go out at all. I was like, I want to stay in. I wanted to watch the Murdoch thing, which
Yeah.
hopefully we'll talk about next week.
Okay.
It's kind of fascinating, the 3-part documentary on Netflix. Wanted to stay home, watch that, get carry out. Let's just go out to dinner. Let's go out to dinner. So we met a friend, went to dinner. And then we end up going to one other place. We run into some people. We end up at the Dive Karaoke Bar.
Mm-mm.
Then we end up with 5 people come back to my place after that closes at like 3:30.
What was Charles Barkley doing at a dive karaoke bar, or was he at the
No, he
other
was-
location?
It was at a nice steakhouse.
Okay.
We went to have a final drink.
Okay.
And then hang in there for a little
Then
bit.
that's
Then we
the
decided
rendezvous.
to
Okay.
go to.
Because
the
I was
karaoke.
like, that's really interesting that that's where he spends his free time.
No,
On a,
he would
Friday
never.
night.
He had never been there before. I've only been there a couple of times.
Okay.
But
how's he doing?
he's
you
doing
remember?
good. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Vaguely.
He had to get up at 9 a.m. to drive to Auburn, Tennessee.
Mm.
And I was like, I was still on the couch ordering my first meal DoorDash when that game tipped.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said
Past 2
when people
a.m.
yeah,
I
when
mean, are
People
you up
start-
past 2 a.m.? Like,
if I'm past 2 a.m., I'm not drinking. Like I'm usually up watching something or I'm doing something, but
the only way that I would be up past 2 a.m.
Is
is if I was
drinking.
drinking.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not drinking, I'm
but like I think when
Done.
somebody's like, let's do shots, I'm like, let's go home. I am old enough to know that when people say let's do shots, it's time to go home.
Well, how
Because
about when you're doing shots and it's
at
past
2 a.m.? Yeah, no.
Yeesh, I
But
hope you
also-
are home at that point. Like I hope you're already at home.
This shows how old I am. I don't know where you would even go in Birmingham at
We
2
can
a.m.
take you.
Like that's the thing. I mean, it's been so long.
Let's
that
do it. In a couple Saturdays, we're taking Kelly
Yeah.
out and we'll talk about it
It's
on the
been
Monday.
that long that I wouldn't even know where you go past 2 a.m.
There's some. The thing about Birmingham, there's really it's
And
a
I'm
good
snotty
bar
too.
town.
I'm gonna be like, I don't.
Now I will tell you, I think 3 a.m. is the cutoff where you have to have like a private license. So there's a limited place you can go at that point.
Isn't Nana Funk's like 24 hours?
I heard they shut it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that place was still
and I hadn't
available.
been there in over a decade.
Yeah, I haven't been.
There was one time I was jogging down there. I'd met some friends up near church, and we were jogging down there. And all of a sudden, I look, and there's a possum, a live possum, trying to get in Nana Funk's, and it was like,
Everything tries to get in there.
and I was like,
Everything.
I was like, that's
trying to get in and then they're trying to get out.
What is a possum doing in downtown Birmingham? Oh my gosh, I felt bad for the possum.
I mean, I don't think there's an age limit on 2 a.m.
you
I mean,
know,
if you're doing it consistently, then there is an age limit.
well, that was the problem
but if
this
it's
week.
like every now and then, I don't think there's an age limit.
So for Bama 3 nights, 2 of the nights probably post 2 a.m. and then Friday and Saturday because more people came over Saturday night. The problem is I have too many people that come back to the house.
Yeah.
And that's just.
But you know why they come back to the house?
Because they can.
Because you invite them.
Yeah, it's a good point. Well,
It is your house.
But here's the thing: I like being at my house more. So instead of staying out longer,
Yeah.
I just think it's a better idea to get back to the house.
That would tempt me to just be like, I'm going to sleep.
But my Uber driver, so they pull up outside of the dive bar at karaoke. It's probably 3:30 in the morning. And one of the party has completely fallen asleep. So we're having to carry her to the car.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in one of these regular Ubers, and we got like 4 and 1 dead weight girl.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no. So I had to like talk him down and spiff him on the front. And I was like, we're not going to do anything. I was like, if she throws up in your car, we'll take care of it. And he's like, she throws up in the car, y'all are all out. But she did. We were fine.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. Okay. Too old.
So then, yeah, I agree.
I was gonna say, if you'll see that meme where it's like
Too old.
sober Uber, silence,
How
like
old
drunk
are
Uber.
these
It's like
people
that's why I
now?
can't be in relationships.
I mean, anywhere from 40 to 23.
Okay. See that? No.
I was gonna say that's
No.
there are a lot of
If
people that are
I am
like
45, and there is an age limit for how old you have to be to hang out with me. It ain't happening. If your age starts with a 2, we are not hanging out.
You've gone out with younger guys before.
Not that 23. I do not want to go out to a bar and hang out with somebody that's 23.
I think
What are
that-
they going to talk about? And B,
Yeah.
no, you don't know.
that
No.
that kind of is an indicator of what age people you're hanging out with.
No, but this could also be family. It could be coworkers.
Well, if
it
it's
could be friends.
You're not
Dude, family, you tell me I'm
Family.
tired, I'm going to bed. Like that's,
family. Okay, but
Again, I only
Oh.
get 2 late nights a week. I try to take advantage of them.
you only get 2 late nights.
Yeah, and I'm done.
How many late
Although-
nights did you get last week at Floribama?
I had.
we just said 3 and then 2 this
Yeah.
weekend. 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we got to go to Nashville this week.
There's a limit.
I know. I agree. We're gonna work on that.
Okay.
Adulting.
Adulting. That's,
So there you go.
that's
Advice,
your,
adventure, adulting. If you have
that's
any
your goal.
any topics you want us to throw out here in the next few weeks, let us know. We're
here for the people.
People are trying to guess who the person was that passed out.
Oh, I
I'm not at
know.
liberty to say. I'm sure you probably do. Blakelee's Bouquets. We appreciate their support here on Next Round Cocktail Hour, Constellation Brands. Pick up a bottle of my favorite neighbor. But yeah, every Monday we're going to be doing this.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
absolutely.
So you guys have a great rest of your Monday. And again, send us any comments, questions, any topics you guys might have. We'll be back Monday. Continue to listen to the Next Round, weekdays 9 to 1.